The woman in the mirror feels foreign to me now. My hands grip the marble sink, fingers numb from the cold. This past midnight, David is at another business meeting. Always a meeting, always an excuse. 34 days and 7 hours since he stumbled home reeking of her perfume. Since he left the left side of our bed empty. I press my trembling lips together. They're still full, still warm. But no one kisses them. Ethan's face flashes in my mind. David's golf buddy. 58, steel gray hair. A jagged scar slicing from his temple to his jaw. A souvenir from a war he never talks about. Every time he looks at me, it's like he's branding my skin. Yesterday, at the club, his hand, accidentally, slid down my wrist when he reached for my arm. Emma, he'd whispered, my name heavy as a curse. You look tired. I'm not tired. I'm dying. I wanted to scream, but the word betrayal lodged in my throat, sharp and metallic. Now, downstairs in the living room, I dig through David's jacket. I'm searching for proof. A lipstick stain, a strand of red hair. Instead, I find 2 plane tickets. Paris. Single occupancy. A note scribbled with Sophie. His assistant, 32, always laughing, always touching his sleeve. When did David stop laughing with me? My phone buzzes. A message from Ethan. I came to fix the water leak in your garden shed. David must have told you star. A lie. David hasn't noticed the garden in years. But my legs move anyway. The nightgown is thin. Rain soaks through the fabric as I step outside. Ethan stands at the shed door, his wet shirt clinging to his shoulders, a Swiss Army knife in his hand. His voice cuts through the storm. Emma, he says, and it's a command, not a question. Can I come in? The shed reeks of mold and rust. Ethan bends to inspect the pipe, his shirt riding up to reveal the scar again. I want to trace it, to ask, does it hurt? But what comes out is, why are you here, Ethan? He turns. His eyes are dark, predatory. You know why. My pulse thrums in my ears. Rain hammers the roof. His hand brushes my cheek. Burning asterisk. And he leans close. David's a fool. He murmurs, breath hot against my neck. You're a masterpiece. Forgotten in a dusty museum. I should run. But my legs are stone. My back hits a rusty shelf as his lips graze my ear. Let me remind you what it's like to be worshipped. The shed door creaks. David's voice booms. Emma? Where are you? Ethan clamps a hand over my mouth, shoving me behind the shelves. Stay quiet, he growls. David's flashlight pierces the darkness. Ethan's heart pounds against my chest, his arm locked around my waist. I don't fight. David curses, footsteps sloshing away. The damn roof's leaking too. Repairman's coming tomorrow. Ethan releases me, his palms slick with sweat. There was a leak. I call out, voice trembling. I'm cold. I'll come in now. Silence. Then David's engine roars. Ethan's lips find my neck, teeth grazing skin. I think of the Paris tickets. Sophie. The name tastes like ash. I'm leaving, I whisper. But Ethan spins me around, his grip fierce. No, he says, brushing wet hair from my face. Not yet. The shed's bulb flickers. Ethan strips off his shirt, the scar a jagged river across his chest. My fingers itch to touch it. His kiss is a wildfire, consuming every scream, every apology. His hands grip my nightgown like he might tear it. I think of David packing his suitcase. Single occupancy. Ethan's teeth mark my neck. Fury sparks. Take what you want. He lifts me onto the shelf, metal cold against my skin. Beautiful revenge, he breathes. The door crashes open. David's voice. I'm taking the car. Urgent project with Sophie. Ethan's phone lights up. A photo of David and Sophie at the airport. A third suitcase sits beside them. Ethan smirks. Told you. He's a fool. Rain stops. Moonlight silver streaks his scar. If you want, he says, pulling on his jacket. Burn it all down. I don't answer. At home, David's note waits. Staying a few days. Work spiraled star. Sophie's laughter echoes in my head. I pack my mother's old suitcase. Patched, worn. Her diary falls open. One day, you'll rise from your ashes. Dawn breaks. I pocket Ethan's knife. At the bank, I close our joint accounts, forging David's signature with practiced ease. My phone buzzes, Ethan again. I delete the message. David returns, roses in hand. What's going on? I throw the tickets. Show him the photo. His face pales. That suitcase isn't mine, he stammers. I don't care. I walk out, the knife heavy in my pocket. David shouts, but I'm already gone. The train station glows ahead. I buy a one-way ticket. Destination? Unknown. Ethan's last message flashes. Did you burn it? I erase his number. Open the diary. Right. Asterisk, I lit the fire, Mom. And now I'm burning star. Sunlight catches the blade in my hand. Sharp. Free. Mine. The train lurches forward, swallowing miles of track. Elias's fingers brush mine as he sets Kafka on the seat. His tattoo. Asterisk to burn asterisk. Pulses under the ink. I want to ask about the scar Ethan left on my neck. Still raw. But Elias speaks first. Why the knife? His eyes flick to my pocket. I grip the handle. It's sharper than lies. He laughs low and rough. You're sharper. We sit in silence, the rhythm of the wheels syncing with my pulse. Elias opens his book, but I catch him watching me. Studying the marks on my skin, the defiance in my jaw. When the conductor announces the next stop, he closes the book. Hungry. The cafe at the station is grimy, neon lit. Elias orders black coffee and a stale croissant. I pick at the crumbs, my appetite buried under weeks of betrayal. He leans across the table, voice a murmur. You don't run from fire. You become it. His words mirror my mother's diary. Rise from your ashes. I push the thought away. What's your story, Elias? He traces the rim of his cup. I was a soldier. Afghanistan. Lost men I loved. Came home to a wife who didn't recognize me. His thumb grazes his tattoo. Now I move. Always. The confession hangs between us. I think of Ethan's scar, David's empty promises. Do you ever stop running? When I find someone who burns brighter than my ghosts. My cheeks flush. Elias doesn't look away. Back on the train, he reads aloud from Kafka, a metamorphosis of flesh and spirit. His voice wraps around me, familiar as my own heartbeat. When night falls, he offers his coat. I refuse, but he drapes it over my shoulders anyway. The fabric smells of tobacco and oleaster leaves, not mold or lies. At dawn, we cross a bridge. Elias's phone lights up. A message from an unknown number. He freezes. What is it? A job, he says, deleting it. Not for me. I think of Ethan's texts, David's excuses. What kind of job? Cleaning up messes. Rich men's secrets. He hesitates. I used to work for your husband. The coffee churns in my stomach. You know David? Knew him. Before Sophie. Before you. His gaze hardens. He's not the first man to trade loyalty for power. The train plunges into a tunnel. In the darkness, Elias's hand finds mine. You're not his mess, Emma. You're the match. When we emerge, sunlight floods the compartment. Elias is asleep, his head tilted back, throat exposed. I study the scar on his wrist, a jagged line mirroring the tattoo. My fingers itch to touch it. At the next stop, he wakes abruptly. We get off here. Why? He doesn't answer. We disembark into a town swallowed by fog. Elias leads me to a crumbling motel. The clerk eyes us. Two ghosts checking in at 6 a.m. The room reeks of bleach and regret. Elias locks the door, strips off his shirt. The scar on his chest isn't from Afghanistan. It's older, deeper. A brand. Where did you get that? He doesn't flinch. A long time ago, a man like David taught me how to hurt. I cross the room, tracing the scar. Elias catches my wrist. Don't pity me. I don't. His laugh is bitter. You should. We collide like two wildfires. His kiss tastes of coffee and Kafka. His hands urgent but gentle. When he pulls away, his forehead rests against mine. You're not the first woman who's burned, he whispers. But you're the first who's still glowing. Later, I dream of my mother. She stands in the shed, holding the Swiss Army knife. Light the fire, she says. Rise. I wake to Elias dressing. We leave in an hour. Where are we going? He pauses. To find your husband. The train screeches to a halt in a nameless town. Elias pockets Kafka, his fingers brushing mine as we step onto the platform. The air smells of diesel and fried onions. He lights a cigarette, studying the crowd. This way, he mutters, leading me past a rusty carousel and into a maze of back streets. We stop at a pawn shop with barred windows. Elias trades his watch for cash and a key. A room upstairs, he says, unlocking a door above the shop. The space is sparse. A mattress on the floor, a cracked mirror, a stove with one burner. He catches me staring at the cracks in the walls. Temporary, he says. Like us. I unpack the diary, tracing Mom's final words. Elias leans over my shoulder. Asterisk rise from your ashes asterisk. He reads aloud. His voice softens. You've already started. Night falls. Elias cooks rice on the stove, humming a tune I don't recognize. I watch his scar flex as he stirs. Afghanistan? Ask. He stiffens. No. A different war. The rice burns. He scrapes the pot, avoiding my gaze. David didn't tell you? Sophie's pregnant. The spoon clatters from my hand. Elias doesn't apologize. Found the sonogram in his emails. She's due in 6 months. I laugh, sharp and broken. He left me for a child. Elias grips my wrist. No, he left you for power. The baby's a trophy. We eat in silence. Later, he shows me photos on his phone. David at a gala, Sophie glowing in a red dress, the third suitcase open to reveal stacks of cash. Offshore accounts, Elias says. Your husband's been laundering money through his projects for years. My chest tightens. How do you know this? He lights another cigarette. Because I helped him. The admission hangs between us. I grab the knife from my pocket, but Elias doesn't flinch. Go ahead, he says. But the blade won't erase what you know. Dawn finds us on the roof watching the town wake. Elias's tattoo peeks from his sleeve. To burn. Why'd you follow me? Ask. He flicks ash into the wind. You remind me of her. The wife I lost. She burned too. Just not fast enough. A text lights up his phone. Sophie's asking about the shed. Elias deletes it. They're cleaning up loose ends. Like me. Like us. We pack that night. Elias buys bus tickets north. David's there, he says, finalizing the offshore deal. Sophie's staying in Paris. The bus ride is a blur of forests and rain. Elias sleeps, his head on my shoulder. I count his breaths, wondering if trust is just another lie. At the border, guards board the bus. Elias tenses. They scan IDs, linger on my photo. Everything okay, miss? I smile. Just visiting family. They move on. Elias exhales. You're a terrible liar. Yet here we are. We reach a lakeside town. Elias rents a boat. David's cabin is across the water, he says, steering into the fog. He'll be alone. The cabin looms. A glass monstrosity, all sharp angles and secrets. Elias ties the boat. Wait here. I don't. Inside, David sits at a desk, papers spread. He looks up, pale. Emma? Surprised. I wave the sonogram. Congratulations. A baby. How modern. He flushes. It's not what you think, isn't it? I slam the offshore files on the desk. You left me for a transaction. David's voice cracks. I needed allies. Sophie's father. Save it. I pull the knife. David freezes. Elias appears in the doorway. Emma, don't. Why not? You taught me to burn. Elias steps closer. Because revenge is a hunger. It'll eat you alive. David laughs, bitter. You're one to talk, Elias. Still cleaning up your own messes. Elias's fist connects with David's jaw. The crack echoes. I don't flinch. Take the files, I say. And the cash in the safe. Elias hesitates. What about him? I meet David's terrified eyes. He's already dead. We leave him tied to the desk, gagged with his own tie. The boat ride back is silent. Elias doesn't ask about the tears on my cheeks. At the motel, I burn the files in the sink. Ash swirls down the drain. Elias watches, his scar lit by the flames. You're free now, he says. Am I? He pulls me close. No, but you're learning. Morning brings a new text. Sophie's missing. Elias curses. They're tying threads. I pocket the knife. Good. The diary's final page glows in the lamplight. I write, I am the fire now. The train slices through mountains, their peaks glinting like broken glass. Elias sleeps, his head tilted toward me, Kafka open on his chest. I study the scar on his wrist, the one that mirrors the word burn, and wonder if pain is the only language we understand. We disembark in a city swallowed by fog. Neon signs bleed through the haze. Hotel Eden. Elias rents a room with cash. Temporary, he says, but the way he says it feels like a question. That night, he traces the burns on my collarbone. Marks from the shed, from the cabin, from a life I'm still unlearning. You're not afraid of fire, he murmurs. No, I say. I'm made of it. He doesn't smile. Even fire dies. Or rises. We don't sleep. At dawn, Elias shows me a newspaper clipping. Sophie Voss found dead in Paris hotel. The article mentions a tragic accident, but the photo tells another story. A suitcase identical to David's, charred at the edges. David's missing, Elias says. Vanished after the cabin. I think of the offshore files, the third suitcase, the way Sophie's laugh used to slice through phone calls. Good. Elias lights a cigarette, smoke curling like a question mark. You don't want revenge? I want to stop wanting revenge. He stubs out the cigarette. Then let's disappear. We drift through borderless towns, nameless motels. Elias teaches me to pick locks, forge passports, vanish without a shadow. Survival, he calls it, but I hear atonement. One night, in a port city, he returns with a boat key. Yours, he says. No trails. I run a hand along the hull. Phoenix, it's called. Elias shrugs. Seemed fitting. We sail into the Atlantic, salt stinging our scars. Elias stands at the helm, shirtless, the burn tattoo stark under the sun. I join him, my mother's diary flapping in the wind. Read it to me, he says. I open to the final page. Asterisk, I lit the fire, Mom. And now I'm burning star. Elias steers into a storm. Rain lashes us, waves swallowing the horizon. He shouts over the roar. What did you burn for? The woman who waited. I yell back. The girl who forgave. Lightning splits the sky. Elias pulls me close, his lips at my ear. And what's left? Ash, I say. And a match. He laughs wild and free, and kisses me. Not like Ethan's wildfire, not like David's ghost. This kiss is a promise. Asterisk, we survive star. Weeks later, we dock in a fishing village. A cafe owner hires me without asking for papers. I serve espresso to tourists, my hair still cropped, my neck still marked. Elias fixes boats, his scar a compass pointing nowhere. One evening, a postcard arrives. No return address. The image, a burning mansion. On the back, a single line. Asterisk, single occupancy tickets expired. D-star. I toss it into the sea. Elias finds me at the shore. Still running? He asks. No, I say. I'm here. He sits, the phoenix bobbing behind us. What now? I open the diary. The ink has blurred from salt and storms, but the words remain. Now, I say, we burn the ashes. Elias lights a match. We watch the flames devour the last page, the fire reflecting in our eyes. Two ghosts, finally warm.